This program is financially supported by the fundings from the European Commission.
You are listening to the EBU Access Cast, the first official podcast from European Blind Union about assistive technology for blind and partially sighted people. And here are the hosts.
Welcome to the 12th episode of the EBU Access Cast. Today I'm your host. My name is Tanja Kleut. And today I have with me Mario Percinic from Luxembourg.
Hello.
Hi. We have Pavel Masarczyk from Poland.
Hello everyone.
And we have Bart Simons from Belgium.
Hello there.
We have plenty of news this time. We were following the Apple conference, and it was possible also to follow it on Apple devices and also on Edge, Microsoft Edge on Windows. So I was following during the conference time. Were you following as well, the live conference?
No.
I
was working, so I didn't have time to do that, but I checked later what was new, and I checked the keynote for a quick overview what was going on. And yeah, besides, a day later you can see what's going on all of the tech portals, which make great summarizes of the event. So yeah,
that's true. But if you want to have the information immediately, you can have it by following the live streaming. And there are plenty of news regarding accessibility. So one of the news is that the accessibility option will be moved from the general settings to the top level settings. It will be much more easy to access it. And something that was commented greatly on social medias is the voice control on Mac OS in Catalina. And iOS 13 will be also supporting this voice control. So now you can completely control your computer with voice. And they also presented during the keynote how it works. And it's a great improvement for accessibility. And it will also give different access to anyone who wants to control the computer with voice.
Yeah. I was wondering actually how widely it will be supported as far as different languages are concerned. Is it just for Siri languages, or is it the dictation languages, or is it even less languages? That's quite a curious thought from over here.
Indeed. I guess you will be able to select the language.
Probably,
this
yes.
was not commented there, and I hope that it will be independent from the language of the operating system, but I guess it will be possible to select.
Yeah, we'll see with the public beta, I guess, quite soon.
Well, public beta is already out as far as I'm being informed. So people who want to go to the beta channel, they can do that. Personally, I will wait for the final version to be released in September, and then I will install it on my iPad.
Because what I read it that is crashing a lot, the beta version, so I will wait also for the official release.
Yeah, well, that's why it's beta.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, every beta version of the software is known for crashing, and that's why it has its own team of testers.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and since I don't have any devices to dedicate just for testing, I will wait for the final one to be released.
Yeah, that's safe.
I will also not install the beta because I have an iPhone 6 and iOS 13 will not be running on iPhone 6. It will be running on iPhone SE, but the 5S and the 6 are being dropped from the next release cycle. So
Yes.
I will have to, sooner or later, get my hands on a new phone. Yeah, I'm waiting if they are getting smaller again, because I don't want anything bigger than the 6, and that currently doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe in the fall we will see what they come up with this time. So sooner or later I will have to switch to a more recent phone. But for the rest, I'm still happy from my 6, so not immediately immediate need to upgrade. But
yeah, speaking of the new phones, there was a recent rumor which came out actually from Apple, so it's very likely that it's true. The new iPhone 11, which will come out will not have any more the Lightning port. So they are switching to USB-C, believe it or not.
Yay for standardization.
Yes! So lots of people will be happy, and all of you Apple users who were forced basically to buy all the hardware that supports Lightning ports will not... Okay, yeah, if you have older devices, you will still be able to use it, but if you are migrating to the new phone, you will have a USB-C, and that's a good thing for me, personally, to see.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. And what I'm looking forward very much is also the possibility to recognize unlabeled buttons in the new iOS 13 and iPad OS also. It will use machine learning, and what it does is that it can recognize the buttons that are not labeled if you have application that is not fully accessible, so we can use AI to understand the application.
Yeah, which is a good thing and a bad thing in the same time.
I agree.
Because I would like to emphasize here that while this can be really a good feature in understanding particular application and to get around better in the certain applications, this doesn't mean that developers shouldn't continue working on the proper accessibility implementation for certain apps. And that's something that we have to emphasize here.
Absolutely. But when you are in the situation that you have button, it will be surely useful.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Isn't it also the case that developers, while coding the apps, will be now alerted with suggestions of how they could label the buttons using this very mechanism? I think I read it somewhere.
Yes, yeah, indeed.
So I think it will be also beneficial for them.
Yeah, it is. So this is also the novelty. And also Braille typing will be much more faster, meaning that if you type fast in Braille on the screen, now the functionality can recognize your typing faster. And also LibLouis will be supported. This is great because it will cover more languages.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And what is interesting for persons who are low vision is that there will be a functionality to cover the text, and the text will be enlarged on the screen.
Yeah, they did also work on the magnification improvements for low vision people, so you can see the stuff over there improved in the new iOS. And yeah, for Braille screen inputs people, these are really good news that Braille will be improved.
I'm really happy that they will switch to LibLouis because we are working on standardization 8-dot table for the Dutch language. And so far we were quite sure that Apple would not adopt it, but if they switch to LibLouis, that would be really good news. Do you know if it's for input as well as for output? So if you have a Braille display?
It should be. Yeah, it should be. As they mentioned in the podcast that Pavel sent it, we can link it in the show notes. Yes, you will be able to switch the languages, so yes.
Wonderful. Again, better standardization.
Of course. I mean, I'm really happy to see that basically now all the major screen reader companies are using now LibLouis as a standard for Braille, and that's great. Mostly all of them are using now LibLouis, and LibLouis is open source, and it's really developing fast, so that's really good to see.
Correct.
One feature I'm also looking forward to as far as iOS is the custom gestures one, where you can define custom gestures for voice-over actions. The way you could do, for instance, on Android or in NVDA or in JAWS for a long time now. But what makes me even more excited, because obviously it's great that you can assign different gestures to different tasks and also different keyboard shortcuts to different gestures. But what makes me even more excited is the fact that apparently you will be able to assign Siri shortcuts to gestures. So the way I understand it works is if you have a Siri shortcut set up to, I don't know, order your favorite food or order a lift to pick you up from home, you can use one voice-over gesture to trigger it. And if that's the case, this is quite exciting. I mean, this reminds me a lot of the automation apps that are available on Android, like Tasker or MacroDroid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, well, these are really cool features. I have to say that comparison-wise, we have a voice recognition on Android for a long time, and it works really well, I have to say. And I'm really glad to see that it's coming on the Apple side as well. So, yeah, of course, it will not use the same API because Google is using their own and Apple is using their own system, but speaking of the accuracy, I'm glad to see that it started to appear in the system. What I didn't like, comparing when we were talking about the voice control feature, is the fact that they now announced it for users who are not particularly blind. They made it now for users who have motor impairments and stuff like that. So that means that in particular, if you would use it with the voiceover without the headset, you would have problems. So I would say that for blind users, if you're going to use the voice control, prepare yourself to get some like trial and error situations, because it will not work the best with the voiceover for this first version. Maybe I hope that they will change it in the future, but that's what's coming for now.
Well, initially it is done for persons who have motor disabilities, but then it can be extended to anyone else. Yeah. Then the Watch OS 6 is coming this fall also. And what is new is that now applications can run independently from the iPhone, which is great. And also the watch will have its own app store. So you can search and download applications directly on the watch. And also there will be the audiobook application, which was not available before, and also voice memos and calculator. For voice memos, I think it's interesting because maybe if you're on a conference, you don't have to have your phone outside, but you can directly record on your watch.
It comes in handy, that's for sure.
Yeah, and also what personally I like, but I'm wondering how this can be accessible in a real situation for us who are blind or visually impaired. Noise application, which can detect the current level of decibels. And I wonder, because if you cannot hear voiceover, how you can use it, maybe with braille display, I guess. But most probably you will not have a braille display out in a noisy environment or on a concert. But okay, I personally really like that feature, and the application can also notify you when you reach more than 90 decibels, because it can impact your hearing.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
But the most important is that you hear voiceover.
Does that mean that you are getting Apple Watch, Tanya?
Yes, I think so.
Aha! Okay.
I think so. This will be the next gadget, starting from this autumn.
I think now also the audio API is there, so more apps can take advantage of audio, which wasn't that easy to implement before. So now we will have like native audio support for music, for audiobooks, for other things. That's what they announced. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that also will impact the amount of situations in which you can use the Apple Watch, which personally I really like.
What is interesting for women is that now Apple Watch can detect cycle tracking, and it will be also available from iOS 13 and Watch OS 6. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see how accurate it is.
Yeah. Apple is taking care of our health. That's good to know.
Do you have any other comments regarding Apple?
Maybe what's worth mentioning is that the iPad will get their own operating system. It's probably going to be a fork from the iOS, but it will not longer be exactly the same operating system on iPhone and iPad, which is a very early announcement. We will have to see how they will develop the specific OS for iPad, but that's an interesting one, how it will impact app developers. Will it go closer to Mac apps, or will it stay relatively close to iPhone apps? And that's an interesting item to follow up, I think.
Personally, my opinion about it is like 50-50. I don't know what to think. Mm-hmm. Because we have to take into account that we are talking about Apple, and these kind of surprises are not strange for them. However, if we go out of the Apple ecosystem, then we can see that the other OS developers are kind of merging all together, and so that all the other devices like the phones and tablets and so on are able to run the same OS, most likely. So I don't know why did they took this step to develop their forked version of the OS for the iPads, but yeah, well, time will tell.
Mm-hmm. It will also be interesting what number it will get. Will it be iPad OS 13, or will they start a new numbering or a new
Yeah.
name giving?
For the moment, I think they mention it just as iPad OS for the moment, without any numbers. So I guess it will start from 1.
Possibly.
We'll see.
Yeah, I just hope that we will not have technical issues with the stuff like you will get the update notification and then you say, yeah, I want to update. And then when you when you do the update, then everything crashes on your iPad and you have to reset it all over. I hope it will not happen, but okay.
No, probably they will.
I assume they will
check.
thoroughly test that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The next topic is Windows 10 Spring Update, and there are novelties in Narrator. So Narrator is becoming more and more powerful screen reader, and one of the functionalities is the verbosity that we know already from JAWS and other screen readers. So it can be changed by pressing a Narrator key plus the letter V. And there are 5 verbosity levels. So this is great because sometimes Narrator was announcing too much information and now you can customize it. It can also read by sentence. The tables in the web will be read out in a way that is more easily understood. So Narrator will not be so verbose as it was till now. And what is interesting is that as the new Edge is based on Chromium in the latest update, so we are talking about the update 1903.
Yeah, the thing with the Edge is that if you get the update 1903, you will not get the Edge which is based on Chromium yet. But if you want to, you can still go in the public beta version of the Edge, which is available, and that one is Chromium based. So then you will be able to experience completely new behavior of the narrator.
Okay, and what is interesting is that now Narrator supports Google Chrome. So it is the second browser that can be used with Narrator.
And it works really well, I have to say. I mean, we can see that Microsoft is really dedicating to accessibility for the last few years, and they started to employ really good blind people who are coders, and they are working on the improvements for the narrator. And what I can say is that from version to version, for Windows, when we receive new updates each spring and each fall, we can really see the huge accessibility improvements. And narrator is becoming a new screen reader, basically, because that's what we wanted for a long time. And as we can see from all the features added, it's becoming a one. I mean, right now, if somebody wants to use the PC and you don't have enough resources to get any other screen readers available, well, I mean, you can use the narrator and it does its job. It's not really anymore the thing that it used to be. So personally, I'm waiting for the moment when they will say that narrator will support some kind of scripting, and eventually this will happen in the future. We don't know when, but it will happen. And once the narrator will support some kind of scripting for particular applications, then we will have also fully supported screen reader developed by the manufacturer, and that's really not bad. That's good to see. What do you think, guys, about that?
No, that's really great, and I even noticed that on the earlier versions already, Narrator could read more than the other screen readers that we know in the Microsoft applications.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah.
Suppose the performance would be also better in the universal apps, in the Microsoft Store apps that we download. If they are accessible, not many of them, but still, the results might vary and they might be better with narrator, actually. I need to give it a go because I usually use my computer for working with it, so I don't experiment with screen readers much on that side of the tech. But I need to do it because the more I'm hearing about this, the more I'm convinced it's progressing and it's improving. So let's give it a try.
Yes, and the update, you can get the update by going to update settings, or you can download it also manually with the Windows Update Assistant.
Yeah, there is also worth mentioning that in this newest update 19.3, now you can download additional voices for the languages without installing the whole language packs, which was not the case before. So if you want to use additional voices for whatever language you need. And right now, most of the European languages are supported. You can do that and you can install additional voice files without the language pack, which is great.
Yeah, that's great because I installed many language packs before, and I have to say that it impacted the performance of my computer. So now it will not do it anymore.
Yeah. And they also added new Braille displays for Braille support in narrators, so that's also good news. So yeah, overall, a bunch of improvements. I mean, these are just the accessibility improvements. There are tons of other ones just related to the Windows OS itself. But since we are talking about the assistive tech over here, it's great to see that the things are going forward. And speaking of Windows and the screen readers, there are news from Vispero, which is ex-Freedom Scientific. They released a June update for JAWS, and we will put the link in what's new section so you can grab it if you don't have it. Basically, what they did is they improved the Braille support and they improved the stuff for the Office 365 applications and some crashes with the older versions of the Office, particularly 2016. I have the issues like that at my work, so I'm wondering if that's been resolved. I will get the update tomorrow probably at work and see if it's fixed. But what I really liked is the fact that they added the support for the other Java Access libraries, and right now JAWS will be able to search for the other Java Access libraries if you have them installed on your machine. And why this is important is because Oracle changed the licensing system for their Java Access Bridge. So basically, no, it's no longer free, and as it looks, it might go out anytime soon. We don't know when. However, if this happens, that could affect the accessibility performance of some applications which are based on the Java Access Bridge. So right now, JAWS will search for the other ones, and one of them is a new one. It's an open source library, and it will search for that. If it finds it on your system, it will be automatically using that one. So that's a good thing. And they also worked on various bug fixes from before. So yeah, overall good news from them. So go and grab your newest update of JAWS 2019 for June if you did not.
Okay, the next topic is TapTapC.
Yes, so the next big thing from TapTapC. The makers of the software have announced a new API model. Their API is known as CloudSide, and it lets developers implement the TapTapC recognition model in their own apps, on their own websites, etc. There is even a live demo on the website where you can drop an image and it will be recognized by the same engine used in TapTapC. And what they put out now is a new API that is in a sort of live demo stage now. There is no pricing announced yet, and I'm not sure. I don't think you can actually implement it yet for yourself, but they promise to be relying 100% on AI that has learned from the images that have been processed. And from what I can see here on the website, it's almost 1.3 billion pictures they have processed over the last couple of years to provide people with descriptions that are not just a simple listing of objects, but actual full sentence descriptions. So you will get information such as the title of a book, the title of a film if there is a DVD on display, a brand of a device if you show it a laptop or a phone, a color, a shape, the name of the object. So it will be really, really detailed, and you will obtain the necessary context to fully understand what the image is about. It also claims it can recognize pictures in real time. So if you want to implement it in your app that aims at detecting what's in the view of your camera in real time, you can do this. And also, what I find pretty exciting, you should be able to recognize videos in motion as they move. So the video is in action and you should be able to hear what's in the video. It can draw all the necessary conclusions, relationships between objects, and make sense out of the scene. So this is pretty exciting future for us from TapTapC. I guess we'll have to give it some more time to see it in action and to see how well it indeed performs. But for now, it's not available in the apps yet. I guess it will launch soon for those who are interested in implementing it. And it's interesting not only for blind people, but also for businesses and commerces that would like to get automatic descriptions of their products, or social media profiles that would like to get automatic descriptions of the images they post. So it's quite a business now, this auto recognition of images. So it's
It is. Yeah.
It is, yeah. It's a nice announcement. I'm just wondering how you say they learn from the 1 million pictures they've done before, but have they ever had feedback whether on the accuracy of what they did so far? Did they ask for feedback? Was this description accurate or not? How can you learn from what you did before if you have no feedback what was right and what was not?
Yeah, the artificial intelligence works like that. So with the tons of examples, then it retrieves the right one. So it works usually like that, not specifically with this one, but in general, and here as well.
And as far as I remember, TapTapC, from what I read, still relies, or at least used to rely, to some extent on actual people working there recognizing some of the images.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you actually put the images even now, I think this is one of the best engines to get a nice description, because with most engines you get actual listing of items, so this is a chair, wood, a red, whatever, and with TapTapC you get actual full sentence lengthy descriptions, no matter what you take. So I even used to use TapTapC for recognizing money before I discovered Cash Reader, and it worked pretty fine because it would tell me something like, it's a 10 note, doesn't matter what currency, but it detected the value. So I think they were already pretty good, and I'm looking forward to what they will do more.
Sure.
Our last topic for today is Clue iOS application that serves for path retracing, and it needs to be used indoor. So what it means, you can go from point A to point B with a sighted person, and then if you want to come back without help, you can use this application. It recognizes the surrounding by augmented reality and camera. So maybe not in all situations you can use that application because you cannot use the camera wherever. But
maybe to clarify is that when you go with the sighted person from A to B, you have to keep your camera in front of you so that it can film your path that you are going. If there is any interruption, you will have an interruption on the way back as well, because it's using the data from your camera when you go from A to B to recalculate how to come back from B to A without a sighted assistant. So indeed, you need good light coverage, because when I tried it, I went into a staircase where the light was not turning on automatically, and I never need it as I'm fully blind, so the app was confused. But indeed, if you go with a sighted person, there will probably be enough light everywhere.
Yes, and when you use this retracing path feature, it gives you the information by sound, haptics, and speech. And you can toggle also which of the options you want to use. It was very accurate when I tried it at home. So from the entrance of my apartment to the entrance of the building, it was accurate like 30 to 40 centimeters, which is the most accurate indoor application that I ever used. But unfortunately, it doesn't provide the possibility to save the paths that you've done. And I would really like to have this feature because...
This is announced for the next version. I read in a newsletter or something.
Okay.
That's exactly the feature that was announced as coming next.
Okay, that's great, because if you have, for example, an indoor place that is very spacious and that you can have problems in walking independently, so it can be very easy with this application that is so accurate.
Maybe worth mentioning is that it works from iPhone 7 and up. So another reason for me to upgrade my iPhone. So I guess the camera needs to have specific functionality that is not available in older iPhone versions. So iPhone 7 or later is supported.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking now when you were talking about the app, if we have something like that available for Android, and basically we don't have it. There are some apps which support indoor navigation, but not through this way that you are able to basically make your own custom routes. So yeah, we don't have such an app for an Android, or at least I don't know. Pavel, do you know for such?
No. Are there any plans for Clue to be available on Android? Was there any mention of that?
I didn't see.
Okay.
For the moment, it is available on iPhones and it is free, which is very convenient.
Well, time for us to contact the developers and ask, where is the Android version?
Indeed.
Yeah. No, I think that such a thing can be really, really useful. And once you will get a version that supports saving of your routes, that thing can be really good. And I can imagine that it could be also used in the shopping malls, for example. Maybe not 100% accurate, but for sure it could be helpful. And also when we are navigating through the, I don't know, let's say airports, the bus stations, whatever, that can be helpful.
It's a very specific use case. Usually when you are abroad somewhere and you need to find your way back. The examples that they give is you are in a new hotel, and from the reception they guide you through your room. And if your memory is not so good, you might have trouble to find the way back. Or you have an appointment in a hospital and there is assistance from the entrance to the place where you have to be, but you don't want to call them to get you back to the exit again.
Sure.
So usually that's the first use case that they mention. And it's true that in that sense, it's a unique idea that this developer had or this association had. So I look forward to how it develops.
Actually, it would be even better if they could implement sharing and exchanging of already programmed routes, because this way events could be made accessible.
Yeah.
Imagine the future site city.
There are really possibilities. Yeah, can always be extended.
Of course. That's why we have new versions.
Maybe it will be the next...
It's good to start simple and to develop extra features later on than to try and launch with 55 features that work only halfway. So I understand. It's version 1 so far, so Stay tuned.
This was our last topic for this episode. And stay with us because we'll have also the interview with Philip. And if you have any comments, you can contact us via Twitter or by email. And the next episode is coming in July. Bye.
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 See you.
We are presenting today the Philip products from a Slovenian company. And we have with us Željko Kermajer, the CEO. Thank you, Željko, for accepting our invitation for the interview on the EBU Access Cast.
Okay, thank you, Tanya, for inviting me.
We are very happy to present your products, and we met at the site city where you were presenting the Philip products. So the idea is that you present differently pictures and shapes on a touchscreen device by haptics, sound, and visual information. So how does it work?
How does Philip work? Well, that's a great question. Philip, combines haptics, so vibration, sound, and speech to provide information what's on screen to a blind or visually impaired person. So there is special overlay over on the top of the touch screen. We call it grid. So this overlay is full of tactile dots, and these dots are stationary. They are not moving up or down. So that should be clear. So nothing is moving up or down. These dots are for orientation. So they give orientation to a blind person how their finger is moving across the surface. And vibration and sound guides the user's finger. So they tell the user if they are following the line or they are moving away from the line and where they should move. So this is done through vibration and sound. So by combining all this and by this sensation that a blind person has while moving, sliding the finger across this bumpy surface, so this the picture gets created in the brain of a user.
Okay, and it's also possible to see it for partially sighted persons?
Of course. So visually impaired people can also use it because this transparent overlay, of course, it's a transparent, yes, as I said, it's a transparent overlay, and you can see, so also sighted people can look at the screen and can see what's on the screen.
And then it is possible also to enlarge the image.
Yeah. So there are two or let's say three basic things. One is that that we have encoded different colors to have different vibration. So by getting to know Philly, when you are using it for a while, you can distinguish between all these. Right now there are 10 different levels, 10 different colors. So you can distinguish between them, so just through vibration. And this is one thing. And then we also give a sound hint about the sound predicts where the line will go. So if you are following the line, let's say you're following a square, and when you go to the edge, the sound, the pitch will change. So that pitch will tell you that you have to go now in a different direction. So you're not anymore going in the straight line, but you have to turn. And for how much you have to turn, there are different pitches for each possible directions, and there are only 7 possible directions that you can go. So when you know that, and you know these basics, then you can follow the line. And by following the line, or by feeling different colors through vibrations, you can feel when vibration changes. That means that the color change. That way you can go and trace or outline of a picture. So let's say tracing edges, like through edge detection. Or you can feel different colors and how they change and where they change. And this is then also enriched by description of what you are actually touching. So, and this description can come from artificial intelligence. So that artificial intelligence analyzes the picture and tells a blind person, okay, this is a person, this is a mouth, this is a left eye, right eye. So so this can be done by artificial intelligence, and then the blind person knows that he or she is touching what part, what they are touching, and then of course all these different colors or through edge detection. They can figure out the shape of that object. So that is one way, or another way. If we are dealing with the tactile books, we created digital tactile books, which we call feel books. And in these digital tactile books, a teacher or a sighted person can put this description on any image. Or so if the image is more complex, or it needs more detailed description or different description, then artificial intelligence can do, then a teacher can do. And so this is for something that can be prepared beforehand. So like preparing a tactile book. So that a blind person can then can learn, okay, this is a tail of elephant, or to double click on that tail and something happens, and so on. So these are actually two basic concepts. One is for a blind person to be completely independent. So that's you need artificial intelligence to analyze the picture and tells you what's on there, and you can feel it, or that someone else prepares your content that is like a book when someone writes it before, and then you read it. And this is good for lessons, for learning, because the teacher beforehand prepares a lesson and then a student learns.
That's great. And the books are then prepared up to request, or what are the books? So what books you have already in the library?
Yeah, we have different books for different ages of students, but the main thing is that we developed an app for teachers. We call it Field Book Maker, with which teachers can create their own field books. So these tactile books can be created by teachers and or parents. So that any sighted person with no background in programming or design or anything. So it can be just anybody like using a Word, or PowerPoint is most closely like PowerPoint. So we are creating like PowerPoints just for blind. So these are tactile books. That's how you create these tactile books. So we developed this app, and teachers can create content. And but we also created some content to show how it works. And then we have a map of Europe, map of USA. We have different. We have content for learning notes, so that these musical notes, and African animals and mammals and count to 10 and so on. There are lots of these tactile books, and the new content is being created constantly.
Mm-hmm. So the target group is for education, but
Yes.
also can be used for any blind or visually impaired person that wants to explore pictures and shapes.
Exactly. Our main focus is now on education, but the apps we developed that are using this technology, actually we have a lot of different apps which are for different people, different blind or visually impaired people can be used. Also for adults. For instance, the newest thing we have is this Philips camera, where there is embedded artificial intelligence. So for first, blind person can detect what's in front of him or her. So they can analyze the room, what's there, and the artificial intelligence tells them what objects were detected. They can navigate them to that object. So they just do a gesture, for instance, with a phone or a tablet. So they get the whole room. For this is like 3-second movie. You just move the tablet so you get as much room, as much space as you need. And then you can just listen what objects are there, and then you can say, okay, move me toward that object, and the tablet or a phone will give you audio signals where you need to go to get to that exact object. For instance, to the chair or to another person. Or if you want to take a picture, then you can say, okay, I want to take a picture of this person, and then you can they can do it by themselves, so they know how to turn the camera so that this person is exactly at the center of the screen. So this can be used for this, or it can be used, or another thing it is where it can be used. It is connected with also we developed a browser, which is actually Chrome-based browser with one additional feature, and that is that when you get to a picture, you can double tap on that picture, and this picture is then open in Philips Picture Gallery. And that's the app that also analyzes the picture through artificial intelligence and lets blind person feel it through two ways, like through different colors or through edge detection. Okay.
And all these applications are available on Philips devices.
Yes. That is true. Not all of them, but we have 3 different devices. So we have Philips Gamer, which is a smartphone with the games. So we have all these different games on it, and also this app for Philips Camera, as I described before, and Philips Browser and Philips Picture Gallery. So with this app, and then we have the 2 models that are tablet-based. And this is Creator and the Pro. And the Creator is and the Pro enable also educational part. So you have their educational apps for learning mathematical functions, for drawing, for learning Braille alphabet, and learning shapes. And this Pro model has also their application for teachers. These field book makers with which they can create digital tactile books, field books.
Okay. And I'm very interested, how does it work for mathematical functions?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, it works. It has built-in a scientific calculator, which means that a blind person can enter any function, and this function is then drawn on the screen. And you can go, you can slide your finger around, and through vibration and sound, you can detect where the function is going, and you can follow that function, so that you can then feel the shape of that function. So this is one thing. And another thing is that you have also part where you can test your knowledge. So that means that when you say, okay, I want to test my knowledge on a square function, and then you have to show where is the minimum, where are zeros, and you have to also draw the function. This is just drawing it by a finger, and of course on a blank screen, so that you have no vibrations, but you have to know approximately how this function looks. So this is for testing your knowledge. And when you finish with that, the data about what you draw and how you did it is saved. And there is another part which is called analyze data, which is meant for sighted people, so for teachers or parents, where they can go there and they can see how you draw this function. So all this movement of your finger is recorded, so they can see how you came to that solution, how you find zeros, how you find minimum, and how you sketch the function. So did you follow? Did you do it correctly, or you had problems? So then a teacher can analyze that and see where students needs help in which parts. Yeah.
Yes, I have to say that usually for blind persons, math is a really difficult topic because it's not easy to present math, and especially now in the digital age. So it's very good to have also an additional possibility to perceive math functions. I wanted to ask you, is there a learning curve for the user of Philips devices? Because I have the impression that it's not obvious at the first because we are not used to perceive images by haptics, but then after using it for a while, you get used to it.
This is very, very good question. Of course there is a learning curve. So with Philips, I would say it is Philips is like an instrument, like let's say musical instrument. So when you buy it, when you buy, for instance, a piano, you are not a piano player immediately. You need to practice. And so it is with Philips. There are some things that you can feel that pretty much everybody can do immediately within 5 minutes. So, for instance, to follow the line of a square, everybody can do it within 5 minutes. And then you have different. Then you have a triangle, which is a little bit harder, but this can be done again in the next 5 minutes. You get also a triangle. And then you can combine all this in a house, and you have then different objects. And then when you want to trace a sine function, so for instance with these waves, this usually takes some training, and this can take. It depends how many hours are using it. It can be 1 week, 2 weeks, but we have somewhere between 40 hours of usage of Philips, so you are able then to feel also to follow the sine function.
Okay.
So it's not very hard. It's not like learning a piano, as I said example before. It's not that hard where you need years of practice, but some things can be done faster and some take more practice. And Yeah, and again, it depends on a person. It really depends a lot on a person, because we have customers, and we have also people who visited us at the booth, and in spite of all this noise and everything, they were able to trace the function. So the hardest thing they were able to do within 5 minutes when they. So you also have this kind of people which were completely blind, by the way. So this is also, and then you have others who had problems with a square, but everybody did it within 5 minutes. So to know how to trace square. So so this depends on a person, and from our experience, younger people are more open to that, and they can learn much faster.
Yes, of course, because young people learn very fast in general.
Yeah, this is true. They are more open to new innovations and to everything new, actually. So for them it gets very easy. But we also have as I said, we have games, and for playing games you don't need to trace for instance, to play a memory game, you don't need to trace the line, so which is kind of hard. Harder than just know, okay, now I'm in a field number in a tile number 1 or 2 or 3, and then open it and hear what's on that tile, and then find the pair. But by playing that game, you are also training yourself to feel these vibrations, to listen to the sound. So this is also part of the training. So this training is not something boring or something very hard, but it can be done through playing games.
Yeah, okay, that's great. And what languages are supported by Philip?
Yeah, right now we have, let's see, we have, Slovenian, because we're from Slovenia. Then we have English, we have German, we have French, we have Turkish, and we have Chinese in development.
Okay. And are you planning to expand the list of languages?
Of course, yeah. Of course, this is we are working at we are looking for distributors in every country. We want to have distributors in every country in the world. That's our goal. And these distributors then their job is to localize the product, so to translate it to their language. And this is how we are growing.
Okay. And also, I wanted to ask you for different levels of vibration that you mentioned before.
Yeah.
So what are the criteria? Color is the criteria. So I remember that the darker has a more strong haptic. And are there other criteria? So for the 10 levels that you mentioned.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is good question. Yeah. We did it by let's say by testing, and we distinguished that because the tablets that we are using and these vibrators they have, we are using the good one, but not all the tablets are equally good. So for instance, if somebody wants to have a Philip on their own tablet or something, which we are now preparing to launch add-ons, so that you can also get it for your own that you don't for your own phone or tablet, so that you do not need to buy one. So this is then we decided to have these 10 different levels. And we encoded them through intensity of vibration. So this vibration changes a little bit in frequency and in strength. So and through test we determined that people can determine these levels. And at the beginning, for the beginners, it is like that they can at the beginning feel like somewhere like 4, 5 different levels, and then when they get used to and they practice with the Philip, they can feel all 10 of them very easily.
Okay, and so on what devices can Philip be installed, or what is the plan that Philip will be installed? So they're Android based.
Yeah. Philip is Android based, and I'm sorry, you asked me about the colors, and I forgot to answer the question to the end. So I'll return to the previous question.
Yeah.
So this we took the colors that are lighter, vibrate have a lighter vibration, and colors that are darker have stronger vibration. So this is how we. Why we did it? Because we thought, like, if something is transparent, it is very light, so we don't see it, you don't feel it. That was the logic. And if something is black, then you can see it very well, and this is the strongest vibration. That was the logic behind that. Yeah. So now this question about the devices. So right now we are selling Philip on our own devices, so you can buy it only together with the device. So we are selling device with this tactile overlay and with software. But we are now working on also on add-ons, because we had some major improvements in innovations actually in this technology. And now we will soon be ready to enable also other users to put it on their own devices.
Okay, that would be great. And is it in plan to support also iOS?
It is not right now one of our intermediate plans.
Okay.
But I don't know if Apple contacts us. And we start talking with them, everything is possible. Yeah, we would like to do that, but right now we are working only on Android. And I want to say why we started on Android, because on Apple iPads do not vibrate. Only iPhones do. And this is problem if you want to have a tablet and a bigger tablet to present some bigger image and more details, then you have a problem. Yeah. So this is why we started working on Android. Android tablets also, some of them, of course, not all of them, some of them also vibrate. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, understand. Okay, so what is the price range of the three devices? And is it possible to buy them already?
Yes, of course. Yeah, you can buy them through our distributors or on our web page. If we don't have a distributor in that country yet, then you can buy it in our web shop. And we have three different devices, as I said. This is a gamer, it's a smartphone with the Philip functionality and with this artificial intelligence for detecting objects. So this costs €699. And then we have a Creator, which is this middle tablet for educational purposes, and has educational apps, has games. And this one costs €1,499. And then we have a Pro model, which is a premium tablet with high density resolution grid and this special software for teachers with which they can create new tactile books. And this one costs €2,499.
Okay. And you mentioned during the interview already some plans, but do you want to mention some of the plans, the development for the future?
For the future, as I said, our plans are to create these add-ons so that people can buy just a particular app with this overlay and put it on their device and be able to use Philip, and with that there will be the prices will be much lower, and more people, I believe, will be able to afford it. And the second thing is Philip Open Platform. So we are working on that by what does it mean, a Philip Open platform? So what we want to do, we want to have a platform, like a marketplace, where other people, developers and content creators, like teachers, parents, can create content or apps using Philip technology, and these apps can be shared or sold over this Philip Open platform. So what we want to do is to unite the community, unite all the blind and visually impaired people worldwide, and enable them easy access to digital content, which is prepared for them. So in this Philip format. So in this way, we want to enable blind people to get better content, better apps for them, and good practices among teachers that could come up and be shared among the community over the whole world.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. Do you have a message for our listeners?
Well, yes, I do. I would like to invite you to come to our web shop and buy Philip, and I promise you that we will transfer you from a blind person to digitally sighted person.
Thank you very much. Can you tell us what is the website?
Website is www.feelif.com.
Okay, great. We will also mention it in the show notes. Thank you very much for the interview, and all the best.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you for listening. This has been EBU Access Cast.